What's up, everybody? We are batch 16 and welcome to another episode of our fourth podcast. Today, we will be discussing about stress management, and with me, we have Ishak, Jinhao, Adam, and Eve. Okay, so for the first question, I'll be asking a simple one first for starters. Was there any time that you guys felt stress-free?
Stress-free.
Yes. Was there any period of time where you felt stress-free and what we're actually doing?
Jinhao, you want to go first?
Alright. So for me, as an track athlete, you will actually figure that I feel most stress free when I'm playing sports or when I'm running. So in any sports that I feel that I'm able to or capable of running in the sport, I'll feel the most stress free in that area. I actually like the way that I run. So in the way that I actually feel very like when I run, as the wind like just blows past me and I feel like I'm in the world of my own. That's when I feel the most stress free. In other words, I also feel stress free in a hobby like basketball. So I normally play with my friends who invite me, and we play some competitive type of basketball, but we also try to have fun in as much a way as possible and have laughs and all that.
So
friends lah.
in a way, you release stress by sports lah. Okay, releasing stress we'll talk about that later lah. But okay, thank you so much, Jinhao. What about you, Ishak? Was there any time you felt stress free?
I mean, same as Jinhao. I think most of us like things that we do in our free time. So our hobbies, just any leisure activities that we do is the main reason why we do it is because we enjoy it. Firstly, and secondly is because we want to de-stress from such a fast-paced like modern lifestyle that we live in. We tend to do a lot of things do a lot of things in a day that we barely get any time to ourselves just to get a bit of peace of mind lah. So I think personally for me, one few things that help me feel stress free is like just being in my room, just listening to music. Yeah, that's one of the things I like to do it like when
We'll be talking about that later. So
yeah, when I have free time, I like to listen to, because I have my own playlist, right? So basically just filled with songs that I know that I enjoy, and then I just like to sort of vibe. Yeah, just vibe by myself.
Spotify Premium.
Yeah, definitely not to get a premium, no
To
time
get
for
premium.
no time, because if you have the ads, they'll just ruin the entire feeling. So I think one of them is listening to music in my own free time. Another one is also like Jinhao, being a sports person, I enjoy playing like different types
We are
of
all sports
of
around
sports.
us.
But more relaxed, not so much competitive. Like if I know that I'm just there to have fun and it doesn't matter if I'm like, I mean, obviously there's going to be being a like an athlete and stuff. I have my own competitive nature, but if I know that everyone is there just to have fun with one another, then that's where I feel the most stress free, because I can do what I love, but also have fun.
Just
in
enjoy
process.
the game, right?
Enjoy the game itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Adam and Eve won't be answering the question. They will be here to listen only. Alright, so for the second question, Jinhao, I want to ask you, what is stress? Or actually, what do you think is stress?
I think to me, stress would be when someone is under tons and lots of pressure. I think stress, it's very it's a lot of varieties in stress. A lot of people can feel stress from variety of things. Yeah.
Not a game, right?
I think through gaming there's also gaming stress, even though it's one way to release stress, but competitive nature.
So what does stress mean to you? What do you think is stress actually?
What do I think is stress?
I mean, other than homework and school stuff lah.
Other than homework and school, would be actually managing my schedule. Doing more like it, because school already took off multitude of things.
Yeah, right.
But other than that, I still need to organize things outside, like
Oh yeah, you got your training.
my training. I
stuff.
go to church, organize meeting with friends. I think that's the most
Stress, time management.
stuff,
Oh, okay. Ishak, what about you? What does stress? What do you think
Mean
about
to
when you think of
you.
stress? Yeah.
I mean, there's like two ways to answer the question. One is what is stress to me, like what I think stress is.
Correct.
Personally, I think stress is like any sort of discomfort that your body or your mind is feeling at any point of time.
Yeah.
Like I mean, when you feel stressed, you feel the need or like you feel obligated to do something to sort of counter that stress. So that's only because your body is feeling this uncomfortable or your body is in a state where it's not familiar with like this feeling. So like there's like I think some of us may know, some of us may not know, but there's good and bad kind of stress, right? So
Actually, I'll be talking about that
we'll
later.
talk about it
Yeah,
later. So
correct.
I don't say lah, okay?
Yeah, maybe you leave that for
just-
me.
Yeah, I'll do it for you. Sorry. But yeah, so I feel like Jin Hao said, time management is the good kind of stress. So when your body
Right,
is
right.
like when you feel, because if you need stress, like stress is not a bad thing, like per se. I feel like stress gives you the sense of urgency and like discipline to do what needs to be done. Because if you don't feel stress or like Jin Hao said pressure at that point of time, you won't feel like the need to do anything,
Right,
and then you just start to become lax and take things for granted.
correct.
So to me, stress is comes from things like homework, time management, my daily chores, like trying to make my parents proud. Everything has stress lah. But it just boils down to how you are able to deal with it at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Thank you, Ishak. Right, so moving on to the physical aspects of stress, I'll be talking about what actually is stress. So, stress is actually a physical response called the stress response, and actually what happens in your body is it actually releases adrenaline and also cortisol so that we'll feel more awake and more or less hyper lah. So it actually brings out a fight or flight response in our body. So actually our breath quickens and our heartbeat also increases when we are actually stressed, and it's it might not be a good thing and it might be a good thing depending on how you actually use it. Like let's say competition wise, it will be a good thing. But if you bring it out every like hour or 30 minutes, it will be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because it also actually takes out a lot of nutrients from your body, as your body also burns sugars and fats to release into the bloodstream and stuff. Alright, so for the third question, what are you currently stressed with, and what coping mechanism do you implement to cope with the stress?
Currently, sorry.
Yeah, Isha go
Oh, I
first.
go
Isha
first,
go
ah?
first.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Currently, what I'm stressed with is TEP. I mean, that's basically TEP is what sort of
Everyone's looking at you.
I mean, yeah.
Everyone is stressed.
because I mean that's what takes the most amount of time during my day. I mean at
Mm.
this point, in this period of time lah, we have a lot of responsibilities. We have to find partners to work with. We have to think of activities, programs. We have to do research. There's a lot of things going on in during the in the day
Like a
that
full-time job.
yeah, sort of like a full time. But I mean, definitely full time job is way more stressful, way more responsibilities. But I think that now what's giving me more stress is uh, trying to keep track of the things that I need to do, because
Ensure that everything goes.
there's so much going on that like if I put too much of my time or like energy onto one thing, I might neglect the other things in my life lah. So I feel that that's one thing. So keeping track of the things in my life. Secondly is trying to. I mean, every student goes through this lah. Basically, getting like good grades and stuff. Because
Right.
especially what giving me more stress now is the fact that I do not know how we are being graded for TEP. So I don't know what. I don't like it when I don't have a certain sort of rubrics or set of a structure that I have to follow in order to get a certain grade and stuff. So
So
that's
you
what
have the
TEP
control.
is now.
Yeah.
So I don't have a way to gauge like what I'm doing is good enough. So that's
Bro,
giving
just
me,
whack lah.
yeah, that's giving me a lot of stress right now. That makes me uncomfortable. Like I said before, when we are in discomfort, that's what stress is to me. And I'm feeling very uncomfortable not knowing that I'm doing what needs to be done to like get the grade that I want.
Comfort pays the road for growth, man. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
okay lah.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel that yeah lah. So because now I mean obviously all of us want to get good grade. I want to get my GPA up. So hopefully what I'm doing is I'm on the right track to get achieving my goals. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you actually cope with it?
How I cope with it. I don't know if this can work for a lot of people, but personally, I just I think I don't know if it's a healthy way to deal with it lah. But a lot of times when I cannot exactly focus, cannot exactly like deal with what I'm dealing with now, right? Currently, right? I just tell myself that the future me, like the future Ishak, will know what to do when when the thing comes. Because sometimes I get overly stressed about things that haven't even happened yet. I mean, like they're gonna happen in the near future, right? And then you just keep overthinking. Especially me, I'm an overthinker. So I'll think of 1,001 different ways that things could go wrong, right? But I just tell myself that the future me, by then I'll be ready to take it. Like I'll be able to take it head on, then and I'll be able to overcome it. And another way is like I said just now, to distress I listen to music, right? So that helps, like calms me. I mean, not a lot. I mean, because even I listen to music not gonna remove all the stresses in my life. But when I listen to music, I sort of feel calm. Then I think my head gets clear, and then I can think properly. I'm not overwhelmed with all the thoughts and like the fear and all the stress of trying to complete the task at hand. So I can become more clear minded. So I can it's better for me so that
Just get it out.
I'm able to get it done with. Yeah.
So I see you run by intrinsic motivation, right? Because you constantly tell yourself that you can do it, and in the future you will be able to do it, right?
A lot of intrinsic. I mean, you can't depend on you can't, at the end of the day, you only have yourself to depend on. If you keep trying to use other people and other things to, like, I mean, yeah, it's important to have extrinsic motivation, but at the end of the day, it's you against the world. So
it's quite tough.
yeah, it's definitely tough. It's tough work, believe me. Very competitive. So.
Yeah, okay. So moving on to Jin Hao, what stress are you currently facing, and how do you actually cope with it? Are there any mechanisms that you implement?
For me, as an introverted person, I'm actually facing stress in a way that how I supposed to meet people.
So you feel awkward lah.
Yeah, I will actually feel awkward in a way, especially if I'm meeting new people, and it gives me stage fright lah.
I mean that happens to everyone, more or less.
So it happens one day when I was like performing for not sure how many days.
Last week or something.
No, it was like during secondary school.
Oh no, I mean currently.
Currently. But it's just an example lah.
Okay.
When I'm performing, I got serious stage fright and my leg just like keep shaking. So that just an example. But I mostly face stress in trying to think how I'm supposed to continue meeting people, how I'm supposed to talk to them or converse
Future
with them.
scenarios lah.
Yeah.
Similar to Ishak, you overthink too.
I overthink quite a bit. Yeah. And how I actually cope with it is actually can say it's quite an unhealthy way. Like,
But do you eat? You don't eat to cope.
no, I won't eat to cope.
I mean, I eat to cope.
For me, it would be watching shows like
Binge watching movies.
yeah, binge watching movies like anime.
What anime you watch? Attack on Titan.
I watched 300 animes today.
Oh no. Okay. Continue.
Okay, so I watched quite a number of animes, and most of them I actually binge watch over. Like I finished the whole thing in a span of like 1 or 2 days.
Okay, that's quite
Yeah,
fast.
so I just started watching anime like just last year.
Oh.
So in 1 year, 360 days, I finished 300 animes.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
Wow.
I didn't even know there were that many animes.
It's just, yeah, quite a lot of genre, and a lot of genre there's a lot of repeat lah.
Okay, then you must be quite dramatic lah. Yeah. So other than binge watching, are there any other coping mechanisms, or you just purely 100% binge watch?
Other than that, I also do game a bit. So I'm
Game. Oh yeah.
I'm quite I would say above average type of gamer. So I'm mostly
Competitive.
focused on performance and competitiveness.
Competitive gaming.
Yeah.
What games do you play? League of Legends? ML?
I don't have League of Legends on my computer, but ML is one of the games.
Everyone plays ML. Oh, okay. Yeah, so for me, I personally like to binge lah. So hamburgers, fries. I love Irvin's, man. They say it's either you don't have to live a long life, but you just have to live a good one lah. Yeah, so
The wings is the fish.
yeah,
that one,
salted egg fish skin. Super
yeah,
nice.
it's quite-
Okay, so yeah, that's it lah. Alright, so after talking more about how you guys cope with stress, I want to share some ways that you guys can actually recognize stress, and also some ways that are proven to release stress on top of the ones that you guys just shared lah, which is also quite insightful. So basically, how do you actually recognize stress? There are actually a few symptoms that is actually kind of like a giveaway. So because if you don't have stress, let's take it as you are a healthy individual lah. So usually you won't feel feverish, you'll feel full of energy one, right? So one of the symptoms of stress is actually headache. So I mean headache can come from if you take a lack of water and you don't drink enough water or hydrate yourself throughout the day, you also get headache. But if you are stressed, you will get headache too. And also back pain, indigestion. Indigestion is a giveaway because usually you all don't suffer from indigestion, right? I mean, if you all do at your age, I'm quite concerned.
Yeah.
And also emotional symptoms is also a very, very, very big giveaway. Because when you're stressed, you don't feel emotionally well, and if it's actually quite dangerous also lah, because if you're not your emotional health is not good, and it might snowball and lead to other things like depression and stuff. So it's quite important to actually recognize
The symptoms.
the symptoms, correct, because once you recognize it, then you can identify and you can change it.
will come in.
Correct. So also, and I'll share some ways to relieve stress lah. So actually one of the ways to relieve stress is actually, it's quite funny but it's just to have a positive attitude.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's like
So
okay,
one day I just feel stressed, I just positive attitude.
yeah, you get your grades B plus. Don't worry, I can do it.
Oh really?
Yeah, but it's actually a proven way lah.
Okay.
Because the world is bigger than you, and what is happening to you,
Might not be happening
other
to other
people will have it worse lah.
Mm.
So you are actually not having it worse. I mean, there will always be other people who are better than you and also worse than you. So maybe you can think a more positive way. That will be better also. That will help relieve stress. And also, yeah, exercise, yoga. I think you guys got do, right? Exercise, yoga. Exercise might not be sports like basketball, soccer. Exercise can just be like leisure cycling or just a walk in the park, scenery and all those stuff. And also music, like Ishak like music. And lastly, I don't think this applies to everyone, but you can also do some prayers. I mean, for Muslims and Christians, prayer will help in stress also. So when you're stressed, you can do some prayers also lah. Yeah. So next I'll be talking about good stress versus bad stress. Like Ishak, you mentioned earlier.
Sorry.
So actually there's two types of stress, which is good stress and bad stress, and it is also very important to identify which one your stress level belongs in. Alright, so next I'll be talking about good stress versus bad stress, the positive and the negative. Eve and Adam. Okay, just kidding. Okay, so positive stress, there's actually two types of stress, which is positive and negative, like I said earlier. Like Ishak said earlier. Do you read my script?
No.
Okay, so basically positive stress is a good type of stress which actually motivates you and keeps you going. Like I said earlier, stress actually releases adrenaline and cortisol. And if you're actually doing something, let's say you're in flow or something like that, stress is actually very important.
What's
as flow is a state of mind.
What state of mind? Like when
State-
do I go undergo flow?
Is when you are actually very focused on the things that you are doing lah. Layman's term. So it actually helps you because your body is so focused, and stress actually releases energy, gives your body energy so that you can actually do the things better like you were meant to. And also secondly, positive stress, right, brings urgency also. Because let's say you are working on a deadline, like a very important project. If you have no stress, you won't have any sense of urgency also. So actually if you have stress, it gives you the sense of urgency so that you'll be more motivated to get the
Complete your
work
work,
done, correct. So I'll be moving on to negative stress, which is what everyone's perceived stress is. And yeah, stress might not always be bad, but it can be bad. So a negative stress prevents you from doing your best, which is contrary to the positive stress, and it actually displays all the negative impacts that I talked about earlier, like headache, back pain, indigestion. What I realized is that a lot of people, when they display symptoms of stress, most of the people display symptoms of negative stress, which is also very bad, and that's something that can be improved on now. Because I'm pretty sure you guys, when you think of stress, what the first thing you think of?
School.
Yeah, stress on school and
Probably emotional.
Yeah, emotional stress, and they are not really good forms of stress lah. So me myself also, I think of stress. If I think of stress, right, I'll think of food.
Food. Why?
Yeah, because I love food, man. Like I
Then
love eating.
why do you think of food when you think of stress?
Because when I'm stressed, I look forward to food so that I use
Overcome
food
the
to
stress,
fight my stress. Yeah, correct.
So what stresses you?
Me, basically school also lah, but when I think of
Other than
stress,
school, like what is
Yeah,
something
school.
that not a lot of people know that stresses you out?
I think I'm quite a normal person lah.
Normal.
So I stress in school and my school, and also I do work during the weekends ma, so it's
Mhm.
quite stressful also because I work full time. I mean part time during weekends.
So you get stress
Mm.
from work. So
Yeah, also standard lah. Who doesn't?
what kind of work do you do?
I do food delivery
Food
lor.
delivery. Then what about food delivery makes you stress?
What do you mean?
Like you said,
You're cycling under the hot sun, of course it's stress.
But that's not stress. That's
It's
exercise.
super tiring.
But you work with people, right?
Yeah,
Do people
correct.
ever stress you out?
What do you mean?
Like when you work with people, do people ever give you a hard time when you deliver food?
Of course.
Because personally, I also deliver food. A lot
Oh,
of people
really?
can be unreasonable,
Oh yeah, of course.
and that stresses me out also.
Right.
So do you feel that stress?
Yeah, sometimes.
How about waiting for like, you want to go to do a delivery and
Wow,
then
bro, that's worse.
and then the food like they never like at the shop itself they take very long to
Yeah,
do.
that's worse.
Do you feel stressed?
Of course.
Then why I never say?
Bro, ouch. I think someone's begging him to arrow me. What the heck?
No, I don't arrow you. I just want to know because you say you're very normal, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody has their everything that small thing that irks them. But then why don't you say?
Because yeah lah. I mean, pretty sure we are the same lah. I mean, more or less, because students, what can you be stressing? Studies, school,
I mean, students aside, like as a person, what stresses you out?
or work lor.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, so after the fruitful discussion, we have come to the last question, and what do you think are some healthy habits people can incorporate to actually fight stress in their lives? Because you don't see stress as a one-off thing.
Mhm.
You need to incorporate a habit to fight it long term.
Shaq, want to talk about it?
Sure. I mean, to use examples of like bad ways to, deal with stress. I think one of them is binging, right? I mean, food is good, but obviously in moderation. So if you
Right.
keep eating like unhealthy food, then that's not good for your health. Then you said something about watching 300 animes in like, like half a year or something like that, or like entire year. So I mean, we always have to find ways to distress and like enjoy ourselves lah. But then when you spend so much time or like so much effort doing something that's bad for you, then that automatically becomes bad ways of dealing with stress. So why not? I think that one way to deal with that is to convert the energy that you use to do all these like bad things, right? Change it into something good. So like, let's say Chin Hao spends a lot of time watching anime. Why not use the same amount of time watching like documentaries or like sort of like not even TED Talks, just anything educational that you can actually learn or like gain knowledge from. I mean, anime is it's interesting, and you learn things, pick up things here and there. Maybe you learn Japanese.
He
or what, I
learned
don't
too
know.
much Japanese.
Maybe you learn Japanese. I don't know. But then slowly, you don't have to do this right away. But I suggest using that time that you spend on anime. Why not like listen to a podcast, something like this? But
educational.
yeah, something educational or that you can learn from, and that education you can implement your daily life or you can teach it to other people.
But what
also.
if he doesn't really like all these like TED Talks?
Exactly, that's why I said there's not one way to like, you can't just straight away say you don't like it. There's going to be a wide range of varieties. So different kind of people have their own ways of delivering. So don't have to straight away do it, right? But slowly transition. Maybe you can find someone you find interesting, and then
we can find topics he's interested in.
yeah, topics,
TED
yeah,
Talks,
exactly, like
something.
sports or dieting, anything like that. Or there's definitely something for everyone, and then it can be beneficial for you. And then like for food itself, maybe you can try to eat fruits and vegetables. I mean, okay, that's hard lah. I mean, okay, that's a bit far-fetched. Maybe you can try adopting exercise as a form of way to deal with stress. Maybe instead of just binging by yourself, right? Maybe
binge together.
eat with your loved ones. Because nowadays a lot of us, especially youth, a lot of us spend time like ourselves or just with
Outside.
people like our friends and stuff that we tend to neglect our family. So why not use that shared, like hopefully your parents love food as much as you do they?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, then use that as a shared activity to bond with your parents or people in your life that mean a lot to you, but then you don't show them, they don't know how, I mean, not say they don't know how much they mean to you, but then, use their time to just bond with them and then just catch up.
It's quite
So
interesting.
that's a good way, I think.
What about you, Junhao?
Definitely I agree with Ishak.
Mm.
And definitely also spend time doing things like he said, watching documentaries.
So do you have any like other forms of healthy habits that you suggest our viewers to implement?
I think one special way or very important way is definitely to find someone that you trust in, especially when the stress you're going is negative stress, right? So if you're really feeling like super stressed about things in your life and you cannot cope, I think finding someone that is trustable like us right now.
Oh
Very,
yes.
very
You can always
trustable.
DM us your stress, man. We'll reply.
And have a health awareness MIP. Anyway,
Yes.
I think peer support is very helpful way and it's definitely helped me.
Yeah, that is
to
actually a very good
lot of
habit.
stress.
That you can share your stress with someone. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually sharing your burdens with someone, sharing the pain and everything they're going through, I think is a very one of the most helpful and valuable way that a person can have, and to especially to help them get through the phases.
Or you can
in their
use that
lives.
on top of eating with your family, and voila, you're in Eden now. Just kidding.
And you definitely start to have a positive attitude, like Ishak said. So when things are going good in your life, you'll start to feel
Better.
more positive, more better about yourself. Yeah.
Right. So any more other ideas? No, you ask. You haven't given them a chance to speak yet,
Sorry, yeah, you can ask.
Okay, just kidding. Thank you for tuning in and see you next time.
Thank you.
Woo!